Cool. We're rolling.
Okay.
Ashley,
Hi.
thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. I'm super excited. This is my first podcast.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, tell me and anyone else listening who you are and what you do.
I'm Ashley Powers. I am a plethora of things. I'm an interior designer. I'm a mom, an entrepreneur. My design firm is called House of Mentra. And then I have also founded the Montana Design Network, which is a community connecting all the creatives in the state of Montana. And primarily interior designers. However, we are branching out. We would love to have photographers in our space and a part of the community, graphic designers.
How does one get into the world of interior design? Where does that journey start, or where did it start for you?
For me, my mom was always sketching out floor plans on graph paper when I was growing up and trying to be the most efficient within the confines of our structural walls of our house. I was raised in the same house my whole life. And so it was just really creative and eye-opening to see the solutions that my mom was able to come up with and execute. And for her, it was just a passion. And then for me, I kind of always latched on to that. And luckily, I attended schools where arts were a huge focus, and so was self learning. And so in high school, we were able to teach our own classes. And I ended up teaching myself an interior design class and then presenting it to other kids at my school. And I got credit for that.
Where did you go to school?
In Alaska, it was a school called Polaris K through 12 Alternative School.
That's a cool concept that they let you teach your own class.
Yeah, and I mean, there was horseback riding that I could do for PE credit. We would learn the skeletal system of horses, and that would be science credit. Calculate the amount of food that a horse needs for math, journal about it for English credit. It was a really special school, and that's just, one fraction of the special things about it.
Where in Alaska? What is this? I'm not that I'm going to know any. I don't know much of the geography in Alaska, but I know my uncle lives in Fairbanks.
Yeah, okay.
So I don't know where that, and then I know,
Anchorage,
yeah,
probably.
Anchorage is where it sounds most people are that I talk to.
Yeah, so I am from Anchorage, born and raised. Fairbanks, I had family there as well and visited a few times a year. They have very extreme weather swings
Yeah,
there.
that's what I understood.
Yeah, did you visit?
No,
Oh, okay. Well, someday you can go see Santa at the North Pole there.
yeah, that's on my bucket list. My my uncle and my cousin have been here, and they've both said that there's parts of Bozeman and Montana that remind them of Anchorage in
And
Alaska.
definitely, there are so many parallels, which is part of the reason why I landed here and ended up marrying a Montana boy. And I've taken him and our son back to Alaska, and my husband has said very similar things, being born and raised in Montana.
Do you have any interest in going back there ever?
Not to live,
Mhm.
but
Visit?
definitely love visiting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might have always been dangerous, and I was just maybe sheltered, but it's a pretty dangerous place these days per capita.
How so?
Wow, where do I start? I have classmates that they've been robbed at gunpoint in their house, lots of vehicle thefts.
Like,
It
so high crime.
Yeah, high crime, gangs. It seems like some criminals feel like it's, the Wild West or off the beaten path in a way. But such a beautiful place to visit. I love my hometown, don't get me wrong. I just I love Montana.
Yeah,
Love our life
sure,
here.
sure.
It's definitely a little slower. I mean, Anchorage, the last I looked at statistics, I think it was 300,000 people were living there, and I like the Bozeman population.
Before we keep rolling with today's episodes, I want to tell you about someone who changed how we show up as a business. When clients land on our website, we hear the same thing over and over. It just feels right. Amy of Unbridled Form asked us questions we'd never thought to ask ourselves, helped us figure out the deeper identity underneath our services, and translated that into a brand world we're genuinely proud of. Our ongoing partnership is easily one of the best investments we've made. Learn more at unbridledform.com. Now back to the show. So tell me about this school a little bit more. You said it's an alternative school? Is that a private school? How does it work?
It's actually a public school. However, it's ran on a lottery system. And so anyone in the whole entire school district, their parents can put their names in to join, and then it's just based on the names that are drawn um, for how many openings they have each year. And no buses. So you have to figure out transportation on your own. No sports. We could play sports or try out for sports at any of the other high schools. And so it was always interesting. Friends would try out for, whatever school was the best at football or
Yeah.
basketball and etc.
So no transportation only to this school, but there is to the other public schools.
Yes.
And do you have siblings?
I have an older brother, but my mom worked at the school. And
Oh, so you guys
so,
had an in?
well, not really, but I would ride with her to
Okay.
school. So it wasn't an issue for us. But other families carpooled
But
or they just dropped their kids off before work.
did your brother get into this school as well?
He was there, and then it wasn't quite the learning style for him. And so
Yeah.
he ended up graduating from a different school.
Yeah, I don't know if you, because we were just at Montana Festival, I don't know if you heard I don't know if it was when Brandon McBee was speaking or somebody else, but they were talking about using AI to understand people's learning styles.
I was there for that.
That's very cool and very interesting.
Yeah, I agree. And I've really felt this pull or conflict a little bit with AI, and the Montana Festival really opened up my thought process for that and
Yeah.
making sure that, we're responsible for using it in what we consider the right ways.
Yeah, I liked his analogy of the Iron Man suit. It could
Yes.
be an Iron Man suit that you put on, but I don't know and what his alternative was to the Iron Man suit. Do you remember what he said? But you could either use it or
Forfeit.
yeah, but kind of just let it anyway. That was a great analogy of you, using it to express and expand your abilities rather than
hmm
just trying to use it to
I,
take all your creative control and
yeah, I think he used the phrase AI slop at one point.
yeah,
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting because we've definitely all seen our fair share of that, even
yeah.
in like Instagram captions and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I've heard Patton use that same term too, and he said that you'll see it in a lot of copywriting,
hmm
especially if you know somebody and you hear them speaking. You would know, if one of your good friends or your family members is texting you, and you kind of know, like, did somebody steal their phone?
Uh-huh. Or
Did they just answer me with Chat
yeah,
GPT?
or M dashes.
Yeah,
I've heard that's a huge one. And
it
I've
is.
been guilty of that in the past. No more.
Yeah, and when I am using any AI to write anything, I am an advocate for no M dashes and no emojis because on occasion I'll use them actually, but it's just I'm
hmm
not going to use an emoji to start and end every other sentence.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
What were some of your favorite takeaways from Montana Festival?
the biggest one, and I don't want to get off track because I have a bunch of questions for you. I think just the idea of the community and Montana in general, just the way that it feels. I think there's a sense of real community and connection in Montana, and I think a lot of people crave that. I think that's why there's such a big draw to the West, to
hmm
Montana. Obviously, like all those Taylor Sheridan shows have a part of that, but I do think there's a different connection that people feel and a sort of personal touch that might be lost in a lot of bigger cities or just lost in the world of technology. So it's just reaffirming for me. That's why I do this podcast because I love the connection with the community.
Yeah, I felt very similar. And to build on that, I felt that the people I met were wanting to draw out and further who they were conversing with.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think of of a example, but just like how can I help you reach this goal?
Yeah.
Like what are you struggling with these days?
Yeah. I had 2 or 3 people tell me that they heard about Montana Festival on the podcast, and that's why they came, and I was like,
Oh, wow.
"Sick. I'll
That's
take my
awesome.
commission pattern, you could send it to me." Uh, and then, Brannon Brandon McBee's mom has been a client of ours for quite a few years, so she came up to me and said hello, and she's like, "I gotta give you a hug, I feel like we're family."
Oh, that's
And
so
she's like, "I
special.
love this little town," and like, my fiance was laughing and I was, but that's what I love about this town.
Mhm.
That's such a random connection, and I haven't seen her in a while, but to see her there, it's so funny and so cool. And I think that is like a perfect example of what the community feels like, and it's
Yeah.
exciting when there's 1,000 people there that are all embracing that.
Mhm. I agree. It was a very inspiring event. I'm still unpacking it.
Yeah, and it was emotionally draining because there's so many people and so much
Mhm.
talking.
And, I mean, you can confirm what your schedule looked like on day 1, but mine was 9 AM until when did we leave the meat eater thing?
I
10,
Yeah, I
10:30?
got home after 10 and got there at 9, so it was
Oh,
13
yeah.
hours straight of going from thing to thing to thing.
Mhm. And feeling a little behind traveling between them, at
Yeah,
least that's how I felt.
and they I think they did a little bit better of a job this year of kind of, isolating a lot of it to the Emerson,
Mhm.
because a lot of it was there. But by the second day, I sat down with my friend Matt and Liz, and I said to them, "Sorry, guys, I'm strategically avoiding people I know because I'm trying to network and meet other people,"
Absolutely.
but it was so refreshing to just sit with some people that I already knew but I was exhausted by it. I
Mhm.
didn't even make it through all the events the second day because it was very dramatic, but
Yeah, I'm guilty of that too. I was actually thinking about how fun it would be to have, like, some spin-offs throughout the year, more like breakaways.
yeah,
But yeah, that's not for us to, figure out.
yeah, not yet.
Yeah.
Back to the design.
Yes.
So you said your mom was doing this not as a trade, but she loved kind of utilizing the space and
Mhm.
designing.
And coming up with solutions.
How often would she rearrange, you know?
It actually wasn't that much, but the planning that took place to get to the construction process, it'd be years in the making and just saving, planning. So a little bit of a different process compared to what I do with my firm and with my clients, where it's usually a vacation home where they have, 5 of them. And it can be a slow process at times if it's from the ground up. That's about a 2-year process. However, if we're doing a remodel, a client could want it for their 4th of July visit, and we could potentially only have a few months to flip that around.
How will this process work with a client? Will they bring you on when it's new construction? Do they bring you on when they want to remodel? Will they bring you into a house and say, "Hey, I'm not doing a major remodel, but I hate the way everything in here feels and I want to just facelift." And
Yes to all. It's project specific and also very based on where they're at in the process. So ideally, I'm brought in on a project from the ground up when the architect is working on the plans because we love that collaboration and we see things a little bit differently. I love what the architects do, but if we can have a conversation across the table and walk through the house the way that a client is going to use it every day, that's a little bit of a different thought process. So that is my favorite way. Oh, well, and remodels. Remodels are really coming to the surface these days.
yeah, I mean, I've talked with some like architects and they've really opened up my mind. I've been impressed sometimes just kind of seeing the lens that they think through and
Mm-hmm.
the things they see, like the foresight they have with stuff. I have a background in construction, and I know some architects are known to drive some engineers crazy. And like, there's this flow of a construction phase. So I'm wondering where you sequence in with the architect because I'd imagine the architect has these ideas, and then you're going to need them to pivot that a little bit, and then the engineer is going to need to like make everything structurally.
Mm-hmm.
So
Like if we want our island to have a huge boulder on the end and the slab that covers the cabinetry to the side of the boulder and to span that boulder's stone or make it appear like it's spanning for the countertop, yeah, that's something that the structural engineer would need to come in and rework, and
Yeah.
it's a fun process, and it's the best when there's an open team that really wants the best for the client and the project.
Yeah, I've like, because I know these from the engineering end of having to reinforce floors with,
Mm,
like, 10-foot wide refrigerators that have wine cellars in them
yep.
and massive islands and any of this stuff. So it's interesting to think about it from the end, but you're really thinking about the finished product and the feel.
Y Yes, and how they're using and touching everything all day, like a door handle, how that's gonna patina if it's a living finish versus if it's powder coated, that's gonna maintain the same finish throughout its life cycle for the most part.
What's the word you just used? Patina?
Patina.
What does that mean?
It's a metal aging process, and you can speed up the process with an acid wash bath. It's when you see, for example, a metal siding that's rusting.
Yep.
That's natural patina right there.
Yeah. I mean, that's such a look now these days too, is rustic
Mhm.
anything.
Yeah, well, especially where we're at.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
kinda see it all.
yeah, there's sort of it seems like the architecture is, wood finish with chain link downspouts is like
It can be.
to simplify.
Yeah, I specialize, or I would say I lean more, what is your dream? A lot of my clients, like I said, have multiple homes, and so their primary homes, I find, are a little safe, mostly. That's like neutrals, comfortable, and then this is the house we get to have fun with. So you want a lipstick, red lacquer, Dolly Parton bar? We're gonna do it. You want a stage in your rec room? Let's do it, and let's, like, go over the top with it.
And these are you're saying second homes, maybe rental homes, any of that kind of stuff?
Yeah, primarily just vacation homes for the clients.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that sounds sweet. So it's just like a whole nother canvas for them to
Exactly, and it also depends on the client, the level of involvement they have. Some of them have plenty on their plate, so we get to just run with a few ideas from a meeting, and then others do wanna be more involved with most of the selections. There are always tons of things behind the scenes, though, that we handle so that they don't need to worry about it, like grout color and how a tile transition is gonna end.
do you think about the word or the concept like liminal space a lot?
Can you elaborate on that?
Well, it's something I had learned about, or a term or phrase I'd learned about more recently, but liminal space is basically dead space, non-occupied space, and I've had it explained as a concept in sort of like liminal time. So it's sort of your like the time in between things.
Mhm,
So maybe I've got a 4 o'clock meeting, but the time right now between then. But then I think is from a interior design or like actual physical space is the empty space.
mhm.
And so is there as much of an emphasis on the space that's not occupied by anything as there is by what's occupied by stuff?
It Yeah, definitely, and I see that as in graphic design, the
Yeah.
blank space. Yeah, every project's so different, so some clients really wanna capture all of that. Maybe there's a deliberate sculpture and the lighting's really highlighting that space, so even though it's not usable for a traffic pattern, there's still a surprise element there. And then there are the more conservative clients that want minimalism, that blank space, it's a huge part of that design style.
Yeah. I mean, people think about it in I don't know if dead space is the right term in photographer in
Mhm.
photography, but there's all the empty space,
Yes.
which makes the actual contained space more, I don't know, elaborated on or noticed.
Yeah, I like to play with that with, like, mounting artwork or framing artwork also. Maybe it's a really tiny piece, but the mat around it could be even larger than that piece, and it really draws you in and makes you wanna get up close and see what's happening in the detail of the actual artwork.
Hi, folks. Quick note from me. If you don't already know, The goal of Mountain Mule is to build real connection between Montana's businesses and the people they serve. If this episode or any other has given you something worth thinking about, smiling at, passing along, I've got a small ask. Share it with a friend, text it to someone, consider following the show. Whether you're using our services directly or following and sharing the show, those simple actions help support this business as well as the businesses and guests that have been a part of the show. Thank you for supporting these Montana businesses, local jobs, and this beautiful state. Now back to the show. So tell me your like how's your process work? If you're looking around the studio and we could only see this much in the this much in the camera frame right now, what would you like how would you think about this?
Okay.
What would you do?
All right. So you're pointing to a blank wall.
Yeah. So like what would you do this like from here to here is in frame right now. Like how would you think about this? Or like
Well, the beginning process, we probably wouldn't have met yet.
yeah.
And so we would have a phone call or a Zoom meeting and really get to know each other and make sure that our end goal is going to align. To me, I wouldn't say a fear, but something I want to make sure that we don't run into is like a connection that's not going to work or we're not going to get a great result for both of us in the end. Which leads me to a point of the Montana Design Network, which we'll talk about here
Yeah, yeah.
soon. And so we both need to make an agreement that we're going to work together. And then after that, we would talk about what your goals are, likes, dislikes, and a timeline. Budget, it's not something that is so much discussed with my clientele,
Mhm.
but it can play in a role in a lot of designs. Um, So that's basically how we would start. Send a contract, get a retainer.
So are you advising them on what you think? Are you trying to understand what they want and then advise them accordingly and help them sort of take their vision and what they want and then bring it to life and maybe give them a little bit of educated reasons as to why this may or may not work and then
Yeah, the latter. And so I frequently am asked what is my design style, and I have a hard time answering that. Um, my house does not reflect that. My house is like the cobbler's son, where he doesn't have shoes, kind of a thing. It's full of all the broken design things. Anyways, so my job is to like pull that out of you and also elevate it and challenge your thoughts as far as it go. Like, let's see how far we can take it and get the result that you're looking for and make it elevated using my professional opinion. I will, you know, direct a client if I feel like the idea they're bringing to the table isn't the best, which can sometimes be challenging. Um, but I have years of expertise and I have a bachelor's degree in interior design and also psychology. Actually, not a bachelor's degree. We took classes. Um, so yeah, it's the latter of what you said, basically.
well that's why I mean it sounds like it when you are having these initial consultations and getting to know this person there needs to be some sort of rapport and chemistry because this is going to become a personal relationship. You're
Hmm.
going to get to know them. You guys are going to have some sort of good chemistry so that you can put this together. And I'd imagine sometimes there's just not enough alignment to work together.
Yeah, that does happen. I take pride in getting to know my clients to a level that every single book that's placed in their home is hand selected. I do enjoy placing our Montana books in every home, but over however long the duration of the project is, I'm constantly taking notes on every single family member's interests because I want that to reflect in their house and books, artwork, etc. And then if there isn't a connection, I feel like it's a lot of times mutual. And if not, I created or founded the Montana Design Network, and that's one of the elements of it is knowing that not every project is the right fit, but I know so many people in the industry, and I think these would be great fits instead for both parties.
Yeah. There's a there's one book up there. I'm not gonna say what it is on this podcast, but I don't really want it up there. So I'll tell you after.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It's about that.
You can use your imagination. It's just a book up there that I'm like, "Nah, that doesn't belong up there," but it's up there.
Oh,
Um,
it's
but
gonna be a
maybe
hide and
maybe
seek.
I'll give you a book later. So
Is that a good thing or a bad
I don't
thing that you
know.
don't want it up there? I don't
I
know.
haven't read it.
Oh.
Uh, okay, so tell me about the Montana Design Network. I and before you tell me about it, you're just making me think because knowing when I started this company, from designing the logo to coming up with the name to the branding that I've done a lot of with my fiance that I realized how personal it can be and
Mhm.
how the gal that did my logo asked me so many questions. We had an hour to 2 hour phone conversation. She asked me so many questions that I never would have thought of.
So did your fiance
Yeah,
about web design
yeah.
and her expertise.
And I think I'm sure you have this exact same thing with your clients, but it's so interesting. And I don't know if this is a male female thing, but I'll only speak for myself personally. I just didn't think about all these things. And then they asked me about these questions, and who my clientele are. Do you want it to be feminine? Do you want it to be masculine? What are you trying to? And I'm like, wow, there's a lot to think about here. But I'd imagine this same thing comes up in your work a lot because there's a lot that goes into just a room.
It does, and that's part of the reason why I don't have branding and all those things because of all the thought process it takes into, and we just kind of started running
Yeah.
with the design firm and then Montana Design Network, which is more of the support and resource.
I think that's how it goes a lot. There's a term like build a plane while it's in the air.
Yeah, and that's what we've been doing.
So tell me what the Montana Design Network
Yeah, you
does.
got it.
Yeah.
So I was previously at a design firm of roughly 100 people in the company, and that was worldwide because we had support in the Philippines. I think there might have been some accounting in Canada, yada yada. In the Montana office, I think there were like 12 people at the time that I was there. So when I parted ways with that firm and it was time for me to launch my own after over a decade of designing in the area, I felt lonely and isolated. I was also in my pajamas a lot, to be honest. I was having these really high and elevated phone calls with clients, and then I'm there in my pajamas. Nothing wrong with it, but the day after day, I think I started just realizing, like, routine is pretty important, and other people in the design industry were saying similar things, and I was receiving multiple texts a week also asking for advice or questions, more like expertise in the industry, specifically for our area, I would say for the most part. And so it got me thinking if these handful of people are wondering these things and texting me, then I'm sure there's a much larger community here and just throughout Montana, since interior design, you can design anywhere um, that they might be wondering the same things as well. So that's a handful of reasons why the Montana Design Network was started. And then it was just an Instagram thing at first where we would repost questions that were texted and then people from the community could chime in and put their answers there. And it just started growing and gaining momentum. And we decided, hey, we're going to have a kickoff party so that more people know about the Montana Design Network and that we're here to unite designers and really create a community. And there can be some division in our industry, unfortunately. I think it's the same in a lot of creative industries, or maybe some people have the thought process that they're it's a competition or not enough clients. And I'm just trying to break down those kind of stigmas because there are plenty of clients. As interior designers, we're not just limited to the clientele in Montana, which is really amazing. And I would say a good handful of times, our clients that decide to build in Montana, they end up enjoying the experience so much that then you are their designer for other homes
Yeah,
moving
that makes
forward.
sense. And they're friends.
Yeah, exactly. Um, and So we had a kickoff party, and it was hosted at District Loom by Heather Cade, and if you have not been to District Loom, they she sells beautiful rugs.
Okay. Oh,
Vin
that's down in Four Corners, right? Yeah.
Yes, you've seen the billboard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah, she's a badass, and you should probably have her on here now
Yeah.
that I think about it. And so she hosted our event, opened up her beautiful showroom to us, and I wasn't sure what to expect. I was reaching out to sponsors, so, like, Ferguson Home was a sponsor, John Brooks Showroom in Denver was a sponsor. We had quite a few more, so if I'm not listing them, I apologize if those people are listening. But we hosted the event on sponsorship, we had it catered, and we also had complimentary headshots to
Oh,
bring more
nice.
people in.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe 30 or more people would show up, and then a day or 2 before the event, so many like, a wave of RSVPs came in on paperless post, which was exciting and also like a, "Oh, shit, I need
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
double the catering, I need to double the alcohol." So anyways, over 80 people showed up to that event
Nice.
that were curious in the community. There were, some builders there, mostly interior designers, and it was just it told me that we were on the right track for something that the community is asking for. And afterwards, we sent out a survey, and the top things that were crucial that we heard back on was designers, more independent designers or small firms are looking for a after hours meeting space. It's awkward to meet at a restaurant and carry in 20 tile samples. So we received that feedback. Another one was a communal material library. If you can imagine, designers need lots of fabric samples to go through, like every single item that's in this room, it's a different finish. And so it's part of our jobs to bring that all together and present it to a client. So we have created a communal materials library. And our space also has a conference room. So it speaks to that. And then we have work tables in the space that people can bounce ideas off of too. And it's just such an inspirational spot. We've also brought in artists. Most of them are kind of up and coming Montana artists. We've had 4 different artists in the studio at this point, and we try to change them out every month or so. So we're really just creating this really cool community, membership space where it's inspiring to go to work every day and be an independent, and it's still okay to have those kind of pajama work days,
Yeah.
and I think they're crucial for me, but then you can, make sure that you're also being social and hitting all of those kind of milestones.
And how does this is essentially a co-working space or can be, how, like, what's the format? Is there membership? How does that look?
Good question. So far, all of our events have been complimentary,
Mhm.
just, like, to give back to the community and grow momentum here. Um, In-person memberships for the space are available. They are $300 a month, and it gives unlimited access Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, to come and go as you please, just to have the spot, collaborate, bounce ideas off of, like I already said. And then, I mentioned events, so in the interior design world, reps or representatives come from each fabric showroom, and they bring suitcases, and so they showcase. So we have been hosting these events where a rep can come to town, they can set up in one space, and the designers can come and go from all different firms. We have not limited those to just in-person membership attendees, and it's really saving the reps a lot of time because they plan out an hour of time to have with each design firm, And then if they're going to Big Sky, that's an hour on each side for
Yeah.
travel. So 3 hours versus they've been setting up in our space for an afternoon or a morning with coffee and pastries, and we've been opening up our doors so designers can come and go over, like, a 2 or 3 hour time.
This is very cool. And
Thanks.
you this was your doing of making all this happen?
Yeah, it's been my passion project.
That's cool. So, do you think because you were at the bigger firm and you had these resources, you thought, "How can I have these same resources being out on my own and give it to the community as well?"
Yeah, or just yeah, similar resources by feeling a part of a larger community, but still being an independent designer.
Yeah. I was just I was talking with somebody at Montana Festival about this. There's a business mastermind that's free that meets every Thursday morning, and was telling him that sometimes it's so nice and refreshing to go because I'll get so stuck in my world of my business and my circle of people and the people that work for me
Mhm,
and the contractors I work with, and it's just this little bubble that I'm stuck in. So it's nice to go to Montana Festival and see all the different industries and businesses, but even going to that on Thursday mornings sometimes, it gets me out into the world around a bunch of businesses and people that aren't directly affiliated with me,
mhm.
and I think it's very good for mental health because we can, as business owners or people that just work remote, you can get so isolated. I think that's why co-working spaces have become so much more of a thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I like about our space is that it's just energizing
Yeah,
also and refreshing. It's downtown on the corner of Tracy and Main, right across from currently it's the senator's office. I think their lease is up soon, but it's just like a really great location and it has a brick wall that extends into the space and the sun diffuses. So we're even hoping that we have some potentially some photographers that join the
oh,
membership.
nice.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful spot that I think it needs to be utilized in like every creative way that it could be.
Is Tracy where Revelry and AC are they on?
Yep, exactly. It's
Is it
on the same block as Heist also.
okay?
So that was pretty deliberate in choosing the location. For instance, if clients are traveling from Big Sky for a meeting for interiors, they could pop up to the studio space, have a dinner reservation at Heist afterwards, and
Yeah,
then get a shuttle back from Montana Mule.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Location is everything. I think about that, but just being downtown on Main Street, I'd imagine that's has all kinds of advantages.
Yeah. Well, and if there are no clients in there, we're kind of like we pump up the music a little bit and just have fun. Sometimes our mascot's there, my dog, Clark Griswold.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me about that space. Did you create what that space is in the interior?
I did not, and we have not done anything to the interior walls. It's a space that speaks for itself. Bozeman Media Design was previously in it, and I would see it in the photos that they would post on their Instagram, and it just spoke to me, and I talked fondly about it to the founder of that company over and over again, and when it was time for her to move on, she got a hold of me and asked if I knew of anyone looking for a space, and I definitely wasn't looking for a space, but I had just admired it and decided to make the jump and to have a physical spot for Montana Design Network.
Yeah, very cool. Is there anything else it's used for that you didn't talk about? It sounds like just from the I don't know what the term is used, the people that have the different fabrics and
Yeah, the
everything.
reps.
Yeah, for the reps, it sounds like it's a huge advantage for
Mhm.
them and for people that just to have everything isolated there, not all over the place.
Yeah, I'm hoping in the future that we have some design movie nights, but, I have so many dreams and goals and hopes for the space, and we'll see what transpires.
And are you doing anything on the weekends? Is that when some of your or any of your events taking place on the weekends there?
They have not yet. Of course, I'd like to do something with Montana Festival someday.
Yeah,
I think it would be a great space for a more of a quaint
yeah.
event. Um, if if and when photographers join, I think weekends would be the ideal spot. ideal time and place for them to, have some shoots in it. All of our stuff is on casters for the most part, so our whole material library can shift to one wall in the space and really condense, and same with our work tables. So we've really created like a multi-purpose creative spot that also has a lot of possibilities, and it has morphed quite a few times already, and I think it's just gonna continue to do so.
Did you go to the was it design day that they did at Montana Festival when they designed the different
I went to Design Town. Yes.
design town? Yes.
Yeah.
Did that did that have any, and I haven't gone to that. I've just gone to the startup city, which
Is
I
that
don't
the same time?
yeah.
I
And
know, there's, like, not enough
yeah, yeah,
time
yeah.
in the day.
It's yeah, it's a little bit of a bummer because I'd be just as curious to be at both. And I mean, I'm sure you would too, because,
Mhm.
being a business owner, anyway, I don't think you could go wrong either way, but you do have to pick. Did that feel of that, was that similar at all to the feel you have in this place that you've created? I'd imagine there's not like a large group like that all working on the same thing,
Yeah.
but like it seems like the same concept.
Yeah, I would say yes. It was just on a much different scale and larger scale, um, and it was really neat to, yeah, have, architects. Jeff with 45 Architecture was in my group, and a few other very talented people as well from different firms. And so that was really interesting. A lot of times I don't have I don't want to say invitation to go to that extent, but we were working on, a huge plot of land. Our group was assigned Missoula.
Yep.
And so those that don't know, like Design Town, different mayors from each town came and then they presented I would say a problem that they were dealing with and wanted brainstorming and troubleshooting for. And so Missoula's their issue was that they had this large plot of land. It's kind of at the edge of a residential area that leads to downtown. And then on the other side, there are a lot of it sounded like medical facilities. In the center of the plot of land is a film studio. And then on another side of the land, the other side of the highway is, I believe, the dump. So it was really interesting to figure out, how to hide the dump still and also have green space, multi-living, and all the possibilities that a space like that could offer for the community.
I was going to ask you that because I guess the label of your occupation is interior design. Do you expand your talents outside of designing
Yeah,
interior?
absolutely. I've been on projects where I have been the sole person selecting the exterior materials as well, and typically, we want the interior and exterior to have a flow to it. And so we'll also provide the exterior light fixtures, specify them, get those on order. I would love to get more into landscape design, but there are so many talented people that focus on that I think a team really benefits when there's someone like that on it.
Yeah. Do you feel comfortable doing that kind of stuff, like selecting a lot of the exterior of a home and that stuff?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's been m- my whole career I've been making those selections as well.
And you think there should be some like
Continuity.
between
Mhm.
interior and exterior?
Absolutely. I don't know if you feel like this when you step into a space. Some Sometimes it can be done right, like an element of surprise, right? If
Yeah.
it's intentional and you walk into a space and it doesn't have a connection, but that is very deliberate. But for the most part, there should be, a thread at least.
You said you have a psychology degree. Do you ever get into the concept of like interior and exterior of people and like think of those? Do you see any relevance in that? And then when this work you do?
So I misspoke there. I do
Okay.
not have a psychology degree, but I
Okay.
did say
But you
that.
did study.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So
And you're a human.
yeah. Yeah. I've been studying my whole
Yeah.
life. I'm a professional at psychology. Um, yeah, it was required in school for my bachelor's degree for interior design. And at the time, I thought that was bizarre and, wanted to kind of fight having anything that wasn't really arts related in my schooling. But there are great fundamentals that I had to take too. And psychology is one of them that I use every single day in communicating with my clients, with contractors, because that's a whole nother element when you walk on a job site to be able to talk contractor language,
Yeah.
which you know about, and then digest it and then speak to your clients in a way that they understand what's going on.
And do you find this is definitely a psychological question, but do you find that these people are trying to express some part of themselves in this interior of the house? Do you think about those things?
I do think about it. However, I feel like I have had a few clients that that is important to them.
Mhm.
And that's, if we're really transforming a spot in their house as, to look like it's a nightclub or something like that, really to bring in that feeling. But for a lot of projects, I don't think that it's that deliberate. I was gonna say I don't think it's that deep for them.
Yeah.
I still think it's very personal, but the caliber of clientele that's building in, like, Big Sky primarily, they they have so many things their minds are on also,
Yeah.
and, like, this is another house for quite a few of them.
Mhm. Yeah, I personally, I'll go if something's not right in a space. I don't know, maybe you wouldn't think this about me, or some people wouldn't, but it will drive me crazy. Yeah.
Do you have to have things, like, symmetrical? Does asymmetry bother you?
And no, uh, I'll tell you like, I have a bunch of tattoos, and one, like, the guy that did the tattoos on this arm, he said something that I really liked is he likes making things perfectly unperfect.
Mhm.
So, yes and no. Sometimes I'll like a little bit of, like, symmetry within a bunch, but it's I don't know, things with, like, where furniture is in a room or where I'm sitting. I have a I have a preference of, like, where I'm sitting in a room is to, like, facing doors where
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sitting right now, and I don't have I know this is, like, coined a lot as people with a military background. I don't have a military background.
Mhm.
I don't know where that is. Maybe I'm, like
I think that's human nature,
yeah,
though. I think that's just a part of our jobs as interior designers to already, like, know and recognize those things, and
yeah,
I think at this point in my career, they just come as second nature.
yeah,
So, I'm probably doing way more things like that than I even realize every day in my designs.
yeah, and I mean, if you walked in this room and something just seemed so ass backwards as to, like, everyone's backs were to the door or something, like, something about that would I'd be like,
Mhm.
"Sorry, let's just fix this now because I'm gonna like, it'll drive me crazy."
Yeah, I worked at a design firm where some of the desks were set up like that, and it was not ideal for people that are designing spaces. It's a
Yeah. Yeah,
little
it's just I don't
hard to
know,
work at those spots.
that makes sense.
Mhm.
So I guess, like, is the term, like do you ever think of, like, feng shui? Is that, like
Yeah, I think that's
how did
like I was saying, kinda second nature at this point. I do not know everything about it, and I did not take a class in college on it either. However, um, as designers, we're just pretty in tune with what makes a space comfortable and, like, even things like this doesn't have to do with feng shui necessarily, but, like, TV location for, the position of your neck and your head and what's actually comfortable versus what's more visibly pleasing, and it depends on the client which way we honor for the design.
yeah. This I was thinking of one architect when I was telling you I've talked with some architects, but he was showing me these ceiling lights and, at the wrong height, you would miss the landscape through this
Mhm.
window, which he had, put at the perfect elevation to catch everything, and he was going crazy about this lamp that they had essentially
Oh,
hung too low.
yeah.
But it's those kind of things that I think you don't necessarily think about until
Totally.
you're standing at the kitchen over this sink
Mhm.
with this beautiful view and this light's hanging in the middle of it.
Yeah,
So,
and we try to pre-plan for those elements as much as we can. However, I always love to be on site for a light fixture hanging. Um, there are some things you just can't pre-plan for,
Yeah,
and maybe a half an inch taller would have cleared those.
yeah, and then depending on the person too,
Yeah,
because
true.
yeah, even with this studio, I never wanted like the lights and the camera and everything because I wanted to just feel like we're just having a conversation, a very casual.
Yeah,
But also, with the lighting's terrible, it kind of sucks to record the whole thing and have terrible lighting. So
it still feels comfortable, but it is interesting how the 2 lights have different color temperatures.
yeah, and that like is because the light bulb went bad in that one. They both
Oh,
should really be that temperature.
okay.
But
That's like
if I change the temperature,
3,000 kelvins over there. That's like 2,700.
I'm trying to find the thing. Hang on one second.
Okay. Oh, a remote?
Yeah, normally you can change them both with this one,
Oh, yeah, got it.
but that seems to make the best lighting, and that looks pretty good too, though. Anyway, now they're closer. But that one you can adjust, but I need to order a new bulb for that one so I can adjust it with the remote.
Got
But
it. A dimmable one?
yeah, and also depends on the day too, because I told you the blinds are open right now.
Mhm.
With the natural sunlight, I do think it looks better in here. But I also want to change a bunch of stuff in the space too. But I've got other things going on.
I know a person.
Okay, yeah, I actually just invited you to come do this so I could get free consulting.
Exactly. Oh, I didn't get an invite to the wedding, so we'll see.
Hey, there's still time.
No, no, weddings are expensive. I get it. How many people are gonna be at yours?
Around 70.
That's a good amount.
Yeah, it's a good size.
You're gonna be exhausted.
Yeah, but the nice thing is it's people I know and love. Not that I don't know and love everyone at
Yeah.
Montana Festival, but it's sometimes the volume of people and the amount of stimulus going on, it just drains me. For some people I know that energizes them.
Mhm.
That's just not me. So
Yeah, I mean, I had 18 people at mine, so I get
oh
it.
nice, good for you.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
was COVID, so it kinda, like,
Oh
helped out,
yeah.
but it was a pop-up wedding.
Yeah, and not that I don't want to see a bunch of friends and family. It's just
Yeah. That's how it is.
yeah. Okay, you said when we were talking earlier, flying.
Oh,
Tell me about
yes.
that.
My family had a big game hunting outfit when I was growing up in Alaska, and we had aircraft that we owned, and our hunt camps were, like, throughout Alaska, and you could only get there by plane,
Take.
mostly float planes. So that's just, yeah, how I grew up in the air and also helping my mom on the land prepare for the hunters that were coming in and doing the Costco grocery haul, helping with the math to ensure that the weight of the food matched whatever else we were shipping out to camp. For example, a few times we had four-wheelers that would go out and they would be like strapped on the exterior of the plane on the floats.
What?
Yeah, like right above the floats. And so we had to make sure that like the calculations all didn't put it over limit and all that jazz.
So not that we want to have a whole podcast about this hunt camp, but I'm intrigued. What? Tell me about it.
Big game, so moose, caribou, bear, Dall sheep. Um, we would have a chef at the main camp, and there were wall tents. Uh, the primarily the clients were like what my clients are nowadays.
Mhm.
Um,
So like
Lots of professional golfers. Those aren't my clients specifically, but more that kind of clientele. And it was a family business. So my brother would work on camp, and one of his best friends growing up worked there too. They would kind of be the ones that would sweep out the tents and do all the grunt work. My uncle worked for the company also, a handful of friends that turned into family. And it was my dad's passion, and it grew into a business to
is
allow
it,
us to have our, like,
yeah,
airplane and things like that.
it's still operating.
It is operating, it's under different ownership.
Okay.
Yeah, it's sold twice, I think,
Okay.
since my family started it.
Right on.
Yeah.
So were you involved with it? Were you doing do you hunt? Do you do any of that side of the stuff?
So the interesting thing is when you're given something growing up at times, you want nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, I had like some back end housekeeping things with my mom that I would help out with. That those were just like not a choice. It was just part of, hey, we have to do this.
Mhm.
Um, and then we would go out to our base camp like once a year also before the season, clean it up, see if there was any bear damage, and yeah, just check out the property, take inventory. And when my family moved out of Alaska, it was offered to me and my brother, and neither of us had an interest at the time,
Mhm.
which I don't really regret it because I'd be in a completely different place in life. But
Yeah.
my husband he definitely gives me some grief for it.
Yeah.
And since then, I have started hunting.
Okay.
Um, yeah, my husband has reintroduced me, and I would like to go back home to Alaska to get a moose someday.
Oh, yeah, that'd be cool. Or you could draw a tag, like, once it's pretty rare, but you can draw them out here.
Yeah, I don't wanna sound it's a different animal
Okay.
in Alaska.
Yeah.
They're just they're much larger beasts, and
Yeah.
I do enjoy the moose here, but it's kinda like fishing for me here. I struggle a little bit from growing up catching huge salmon and halibut, and my husband has a love for fly fishing, and I respect that, and I know they're completely different species, but there's just something about pulling in a, 80-pound fish versus like a
I
10,
gotcha.
12
Yeah.
pounder.
Just doesn't do it for you, huh?
No.
That's so funny. What was the and were you flying a lot, though?
Yeah, I would say we flew quite a bit, and yeah, I would like to get my pilot's license someday.
Yeah. I told you I know a guy.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Not far either.
look into it.
And if you learn in Livingston, you're learning in the Livingston wind, so,
Oh, that's important.
yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, one day I would like to do, like, Civil Air Patrol
Oh,
also.
cool.
Then you get, like, the plane time is offset by your service.
Uh-huh.
So that's of interest to me. My son's 6 though, so we'll see when it fits in between our n never-ending busy schedules and sports and
Yeah.
camps.
Anything anything sticks out that you remember growing up in Alaska that, like, touch anything other than the fish are bigger and the moose are bigger than Montana?
It's very similar to Montana. I would say it's anytime there's a struggle, getting outdoors can really benefit you.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's mental, if it's, you're brainstorming, you need to figure out a solution for something, just get outside.
Yeah.
And sometimes I have to force myself to do it.
I know, I was gonna say, I don't do that enough, and I feel like I know that.
Mhm. Yeah, I've actually been this it doesn't account for getting outside much, but that's one thing I've been enjoying about our studio space downtown is I'm street parking. So every 2 hours, I'm moving my car
Oh,
around.
there you go.
And I know it sounds so minute on the scale of things, and it doesn't equate going on a big hike or anything, but just, like, getting outside, it's I enjoy it. I know I can buy a parking pass for I think it's 99 bucks a month for the parking garage, but I'm
Yeah.
just gonna keep moving my car every 2 hours, get out, walk around, and then get back at it.
And then for anyone that doesn't know, you have to move it to a new block every time, right?
Yeah, I think I learned that recently. I have a few tickets
That's how
that
I learned
are
it.
yeah, I should pay those today probably.
I was very annoyed because I went and moved it, and I moved it up 5 spots, and then I got a ticket, and
Yeah, I
yeah,
I I think it should count.
yeah. But the signs don't say it.
No,
It doesn't
they
say
don't.
2-hour parking this block, it says 2-hour parking.
Yeah,
So,
so
anyway, I didn't go to
Bozeman, City of
City of
Bozeman needs
Bozeman.
to
Yeah,
update those signs.
yeah. And maybe they will. Anything else anyone should know about you, about your design firm, or about the space that you've created? Other than,
Mainly for oh, go ahead, Tim.
I was gonna say you want some photographers to come check it out,
I think
or
photog
they should.
yeah, I think we would all benefit from having photographers, graphic designers, other creatives in the Montana Design Network studio space and community. I've even spoken to a painter recently, and I think that would be so energizing to have someone working on live paintings in there while, I'm typing away on my keyboard, glancing up here and there and seeing them in their element too. So yeah, I guess it's just I want people to know that we exist, that we're a resource, not just for Montana designers, also, there are a ton of outside designers that could benefit from the knowledge that we have, the wall covering installers, for instance, etc. Um, Come check out the space. It's fun, and we're here and excited to watch it grow.
Does How do you think about the competition? Is there ever a, like, conflict with, people are in the same industry doing the same thing there? And how do you, because this space is essentially for people
Hmm.
that are, in theory, direct competition.
Yeah, there might have been a time where I did feel that at the beginning of my career, more of the competition. I'm at a place where, and this is also like the foundation of Montana Design Network, is that like we're better together. And I love bouncing design questions off of other designers in the area. In fact, a group of 5 of us, we traveled overseas to the design show in Paris and one in London in January, together, and it was amazing to have fun, to travel internationally, to see all the new stuff before it trickles down and hits us for the United States. I want more of that. Like, there are plenty of clients. Not every client's gonna, be my vibe or wanna work with me. Perfectly fine. I'd rather have people to refer them to.
And when you think of being in Montana, what you were saying is a little bit similar to Alaska, at least maybe landscape wise. Do you get a lot of inspiration from the outdoors, from being in a place that's beautiful for what you do?
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, if I'm stumped on something, even getting outdoors sometimes will solve the solution, or even driving to and from the canyon. That's like one of my biggest thinking times, going to a job site and then
Are you talking about in Big Sky?
yeah.
Yeah, I've like, I would say ditto to that.
Uh-huh.
I don't even know if it's, I won't say the idea for this podcast, but so many ideas that betray to this and to my business. There's something about it, and there's something to not, and I say this is somebody who listens to too many podcasts and too much music, but there's something to the silence that's so valuable. And I don't know
Mhm.
I don't know what goes on in that canyon, but I don't know, there's something to it. So
Yeah, I agree, and it's nice to just listen to your body and know if it's a podcast day, or
yeah,
when to turn the music on and when
yeah.
to just turn it all
Or
off.
just the silence. I've even found
Mhm.
from here to my place is 15 minutes, and just having that silence. Sometimes see, I would call that like the liminal space in
Yeah,
time,
the
because it's in between
decompression.
being here and being home, and I can kind of just chill.
Yeah, it's a little buffer.
Yeah, because there will be times I'll make phone calls or something, but it is really nice when it's just like,
It's yeah, it's like a special treat.
yeah.
Yeah, that and, so that's a lot of my problem solving time, and then the middle of the night also, when I just have an idea that s I've solved something in my sleep and wake up.
Mhm.
Does that happen to you?
No, but there is, like, sometimes I'll get, because I try to be really deliberate about the phone not being anywhere near sleeping space, but
You're better than me.
sometimes I will get up and, um, like, write things down.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm better than my other half of that too.
Ooh, Amy.
I the reason I was asking about the space being inspiration, there was a team of designers, and I don't know if they still do it, but a couple of years they did come and they would book transportation with us. They were coming from France, and they would send them. Their company would send them here for over a week and send them through Yellowstone Park and everything,
Wow, that's so
just to
cool.
get inspiration for what they do. And they did a lot of like a lot of different. I know they design different handbags and stuff,
Mhm.
but it's cool to think that this is where they send them to
Yeah,
get
like, we
inspiration.
went to France,
Yeah,
a group of us,
I
for
think
our
when you said that is
inspiration.
what. Yeah,
Yeah, and, I mean, we're just so lucky that we do have that out our back door, essentially, and it's important to remember it
yeah.
and bring yourself back to that.
So where do people go if they want to check out this?
Montana Design Network.
Yeah.
Uh,
Sorry, I was going to call it a collective, but
Similar. Um, we are active on Instagram right now, and it's just Montana Design Network. DM me, and then we are working on getting our website up and running and having like a membership form portal there, and pricing as well.
do you have a website for your work?
It's under construction.
Okay.
Hope to work with
So go
maybe
to
someday soon.
underconstruction.com.
It's House of Mentra,
Okay.
Mentra is the name of my design firm, and that is named after the street I grew up on in Alaska,
Oh,
Mentra
that's cool. I
Street.
didn't ask you that. Yeah.
Full
So,
circle.
okay. So I will put your Instagram handles
Okay, I'd
if
love that.
anyone needs to get a hold of you in the meantime, while
Mhm.
any of that's pending. Is there anything that you are in need of or looking for in the community as far as partners, people to work with, help with, interns, employees, you name it?
Oh,
Just
man.
put
I
it
feel
out there in
like
the
it's
world.
yeah, I feel like it's all of the above because we are growing and help is always needed. Like I've mentioned, getting people in the space and experiencing it is huge. We do have sponsorship opportunities as well. Like I mentioned, our kickoff event, we had complimentary headshots, and those were covered by sponsors. And it's always nice to have a fresh headshot out there. Um, and yeah, any like cool creative people, I just love meeting them, sitting down, have a cup of coffee. We have a coffee machine in the studio
Nice.
space. Yeah, sometimes there's wine. Try to limit that on only certain days, but yeah.
Is yeah. My brother was telling me, he's like talking about like, oh, it's like sometimes drinking while you're working. I'm like, that's I haven't gone there, but that's cool. No judgment.
That's why you didn't take a Modelo when I walked
This isn't
in.
working.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Is this space, is it invasive if somebody is walking by and they want to stop in? What's the format?
That's stop on by.
Okay.
I love being social. It's probably can be a fault of mine at times. But yeah, stop in. Usually there's at least one person there. But we do have like a handful of members that some days you'll catch them. Most of the time I try to be in there too, but it just depends on client meetings and running around town,
Okay.
etc.
And you said it's on the heist side of Tracy and Maine.
It is, so it's on one side, I butcher this every time, is Fjall Raven.
Okay.
I think I might have said it
That is that
properly.
that's on the corner.
Yep, it's
Yep.
on the corner. So we actually have 2 entrance points.
Okay.
There are 2 doors, they both lead upstairs, and we're suite
So is
205.
it above that? The Raven
It's
place?
not directly above, but you
Okay,
take the
okay.
stairs up, and then, our studio space is usually the only one that has the door open.
Okay. Now I know. I'll come check it out
Yeah,
sometime.
please. It's a fun spot. Bring your laptop.
Yeah, okay.
Pull up for the day. Yeah. We
Or
also
a couple hours.
yeah, we also do, like a complimentary day pass for people too that just wanna check out the space and get in
Nice.
there.
Cool.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm gonna link your socials. Anything else you wanna share with the thousands of people listening?
Ooh. I guess just, like, see the beauty in every day.
Ooh, that's
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And get outside to see it.
Yep. And I need that reminder too.
Cool. Well, thanks, Ashley.
Okay, thanks,
Yeah,
Tim.
appreciate it. Thanks for listening, folks. You can find the full blog post for every episode, along with key takeaways and links at mountain-mule.com. If you haven't yet, consider following the show. That one small action helps these Montana businesses get seen, grow, and thrive, and it helps this podcast keep going too. If you know a business that would be a good fit for the show, we'd love to hear from you. Just reach out through the website or social. Thank you for supporting these Montana businesses. See you on the next show.